Hello and welcome to this section on column subtraction. Now, it shares many similarities with the previous section on column addition in that we're going to use place value to make seemingly complicated calculations quite simple ones. It does have one key difference though. Before, in the column addition, we are carrying, we are moving extra digits that we can't quite fit into the columns to their appropriate to the next column and then using them in the following answer. Just as addition and subtraction are opposites of each other, we're going to do something similar but opposite. It's called borrowing, is what it used to be called. We now use the term exchanging. The reason for this is quite may seem a little bit pedantic to you. Pedantic means kind of fussy and being a bit of an old fusspot, but we're not borrowing. Okay, borrowing means you take something and you then give it back. We don't give it back, we are exchanging. We are using our knowledge of place value to change numbers to be able to work with them. Now that all sounds a bit complicated and scary, but it really isn't when you get through the procedure that I'm going to teach you today. Okay, so strap ourselves in and let's get on with some column subtraction. Okay, so we're going to use our columns and our place values to do a simple calculation. So here I've got the calculation 257 take away 132. So it would be quite slow and difficult to do if we're using a number line or counting backwards in our head. So let's use our column, our place values, just like we did before. So you're going to tell me what we're going to need to do. That's right, we're going to need to write our columns first. And we're going to go in the order that we've learnt. Backwards, ones, tens and hundreds. So I've got 257, so that's 200s, 5 tens make 50 and 7 ones. Take away 132. Put them in our columns and then get ready to work. So what column do we start with always? Good job, that's the ones column. So we have 7 take away 2. Really simple sum that we can do it on our fingers. 7 fingers, drop down 2. What have I got left with? 5. Then once that column has been successfully dealt with, remember we're taking away, so our answers must get smaller. We move on to our next column. That's our tens, because we're moving from right to left this time, the opposite way we read, remember. 5 take away 3. 5 fingers, put down 3, leaves us with 2. When that's done, we can go to our tens column, our hundreds column, excuse me. Our hundreds column, 2 take away 1 is 1. So 257 take away 132 is 125. We've split, we've partitioned our big numbers into individual place value columns and use those columns, those place values, to do quite simple tasks and then recombined all the numbers. All right, splitting big numbers up and then putting them back together. That's the key to working with big numbers. You just turn them into little step-by-step problems. Now, just as when we were adding, we might have to carry every once in a while, here we might run into a problem. Let's have a look at this calculation. So we have 272 take away 137. So we've swapped some of our numbers round. I'll put them out in my columns. Remember to write my column headers. Now, 2 take away 7. Now here's the important part. We can't do that. Subtraction, there is one rule that you cannot break, which is you cannot change the order of the numbers. In addition, it doesn't matter what way round you do it. 5 plus 4 is 9, 4 plus 5 is 9. Subtraction doesn't work the same way. You can't swap them around. We are asking to take away 7 from 2, which you can't do. You've got 2 sweets, you can't give 7 of them to a friend, you've only got 2. It doesn't work, that changing the numbers around. You can't do it with subtraction. It's the one rule you can't break. So we have to take 7 away from 2. We've got a problem because we can't do it. This is where our place value and all that work we did in module 1 comes into play, and it will help us to solve this problem quite easily. So knowing what we know about numbers, we can't take away 7 from 2. 7 is bigger than 2. We've only got 2 fingers. Take away 7, you can't do it, you haven't got enough fingers. So we're going to need to change that top number somehow. You can't change numbers within a number. It's 272. That's our number, we can't change it. But our knowledge of place value will allow us to play around with the numbers inside 272. So I need a number bigger than 7 to be able to take away with it. So I'm going to exchange one of the 10s. Okay, bear with me. We've got 7 10s. If I take one of those 10s away, so turning the 7 10s into 6 10s, and I stick it next to my 2, I've got 1 10 and 2 1s, which we know from our work in module 1 is what? 12. Now I can perform that task that I'm asked to do. I've now got a number in my ones column that is greater than 7. Now, as I said, the reason we don't say borrow anymore is because we're not going to give it back. We've taken it, we've changed it, so that's where we use the word exchange. We've taken 1 10 from our 7 10s and put it in our ones column. If I was to think back and use actual things to do this, what I've done is I've broken one of my 10 sticks, one of my 10 squares, into 10 individual pieces and put it in my ones column. So I now have 12 take away 7, which is a calculation I can do. 12 take away 7 leaves us with 5. Okay, now that column has been successfully completed. I can move across, move to the left and go to this next column. Now it was 7 10s take away 3 10s. That's no longer the case now because we've changed, remember, one of those 10s into 10 1s. It's just like going to the bank. Here's my £10 note. I want 10 £1 coins in return, please. That's what we've done. So we've remembered, and to make sure we remember that we haven't got 7 10s there anymore, we've only got 6 because we've already used one of them in our ones column. We've written a note that there's now 6 10s. So I have 6 10s, take away 3 10s, which leaves us with 3 10s. Then once we've done that column, we can go to the hundreds column. 200s take away 100 is 100. So there we've got the number, the answer, 135. 272 take away 137 is 135. We're able to do that by using exchanging, using our knowledge of place value, using our knowledge that 7 10s, we can use one of those 10s to turn a small number into a bigger number. And that's what we're doing. We haven't changed the overall number. All we've changed is where those digits, those individual squiggles are in the place value columns. Now that might seem quite a mouthful for you, but if you go along, follow my steps that I've written down in the workbook, you should be able to follow it. Let's just do one more together just to show you. So 132 take away 79. Got it written down because I can show you that we can borrow more than once. We can exchange more than once. 2 take away 9. Can you do it? Check on your fingers. Make sure the top number is how many fingers. 2 fingers. Can you take away 9? Can you put 9 fingers down? No, you can't. So I'm going to have to exchange. I'm going to have to take one of the 10s from my 10s column and use it as 10 1s to make my ones number big enough to be able to work with. So I'm going to put a line through my 3. Got no longer got 3 10s in that column. I've got 2 10s. And I'm going to put my 1 next to my 2, making 12. There we go. So now I've got enough ones. I've got 12 ones in order to take away 9. 12 fingers, if you had 12 fingers, better take your shoe off for this one. Take away 9, we're able to do. So 12 take away 9 is 3. Now we're going to go, we've successfully done the ones column, we're going to go to the tens column. So we have 2 take away 7. So we've got the same problem, haven't we? 2 fingers, can't put down 7. 2 take away 7 I can't do. So I can do exactly the same thing as I just did. This time we're working with a column bigger. So this is 2 10s take away 7 10s. Now I'm going to borrow from the column to the left of it. The column to the left of it happens to be the hundreds. It doesn't matter, it's exactly the same. I'm going to cross it through. I'm going to turn, take 1 away, so 1 take away 1 is 0. So I've now got no hundreds, and I'm going to add one of those hundreds next to my 20 to make 120. Looks like 12, but 12 10s, remember, is 120. So 12 10s take away 7 10s. You can do it. 12 take away 7 is 5. 12 10s take away 7 10s is 5 10s. So there we've got our answer, 5 10s in the tens column. Then we can move to the hundreds column. Now we don't have any hundreds anymore. We've used it up. We've exchanged it for 10 10s. So we've now got no 10s, take away no 10s, which is 0, no 10s. You can write it in if you fancy. So our answer to 132 take away 79 is 53. We wouldn't be able to do that without our knowledge of columns and exchanging and place value. Have a go, follow my steps and see how you do with column subtraction with beginning to exchange. It's just moving numbers around within a number using our knowledge of place value and columns. If you follow and understand the instructions, you should be okay. Hope you enjoy this section of the workbook.